for instance, hip hop. Hip hop has done more damage to black and brown people than racism in the last 10 years.
Now, you can imagine how that was received. Every hot take had something unpleasant to say about the guy who made that comment. It was really brutal.
Tell me something. You motherfuckers can't tell me nothing. I'd rather die than to listen to you.
But, the statement in itself has some level of truth that people in the African American community always seem to ignore. And that truth is this, that the hip-hop culture seems to promote practices that are detrimental to society, from misogyny to drug dealing to drug abuse to promiscuity to gang violence to felonies and murder.
Those. And I love Russell Simmons. He's a dear friend of mine. I admire his business acumen. At some point, those guys have to cop to the fact that by encouraging this distinctive culture that is removed from the mainstream, they have encouraged people to be so different from the mainstream that they can't participate other than, the racks in the garment center and those entry-level jobs. And I lament it. I really do. I think that it has been very destructive culturally.
And you can't ignore it. You can't act like this is not the case, especially in the light of the recent shooting and killing of TakeOff, one of the members of the Migos, a hip-hop group from Atlanta. I mean, this guy was shot and killed over a game of dice. A game of dice. These are wealthy black celebrities shooting dice and settling the scores like gentlemen in a duel during the 18th century. Now, the latest variation of hip-hop music is what is called drill rap, right? Which speaks explicitly about shooting and killing people who opposes the artist. Ops, as these modern-day Hemingways will call it. Even wholesome Kendrick Lamar. Guys, even wholesome Kendrick Lamar in 2017 had a song titled XXX, which contains the following lines, quote, "I'll chip an N-word, little bit of nothing. I'll chip an N-word, then throw the blower in his lap, walk myself to the court like, B-word, I did that, S-rated." He's saying he will shoot a fellow black man, throw the gun on his lap, then walk to the courthouse and confess to the crime. I guess that shows you just how much street credibility he has, right? But it's not just Kendrick Lamar. Even the Migos, while they are stringing words together like toddlers who are learning how to talk. Even those people, they have numerous songs in their catalog that promote various forms of gun violence. In one of those many songs, TakeOff has a verse that says, "It's AK in the court, my N-word thoughting it. We ain't trying to look appropriate. Don't show up and look at me wrong. I'm blowing it. You're trying to plot. We know it. Throw away. I shoot a pistol, then throw it. My N-word shoot without warning." Yes, as you can see, he claimed in that song to be so trigger happy he would shoot you for just looking at him the wrong way. According to him, he rolled with black men that shoot without warning. And it's not just the Migos or those who engage in mumble rap. Even female hip-hop artists. Yes. Those people whose major brand often involve talking about their genitalia and their ability to please men sexually. Even those softcore porn rappers. Sometimes they rap about gun violence too. Just early this year, Nicki Minaj had a song titled "Do We Have a Problem?" with a chorus that says, "I got a shooter, I got a driver. They want the hit, I'm the only provider." Later in the song, she sings, "I F with N-word that be shooting at their ops for days." So apart from being a glorified stripper, Nicki Minaj wants us to know that she has a shooter. And she rolls with black men that shoot at their opposition for days. I guess that shows you also how enormous her street credibility is as well, right? So I believe you get the picture. But my question is, what is black media saying about this? BET and Co. What is their stance on this? Because it looks like they are okay with it as they continue to platform and dish out awards to these people for these particular songs. Even Trevor Noah, in one of his hardly watched monologue on The Daily Show, tried to come up with what looked like a defense for drill rap. Just take a look.
The fact that we've been down this road before probably should be a reason to pause. Just pause before condemning an entire genre. Because a lot of the people that think drill rap is the cause of this violence don't realize that if you ask people in the drill rap community, they say, no, it's not the cause of the violence, it's actually the other way around.
How are we taking a genre of music and saying this is the problem in the community? How the that the problem? That's music. It's a problem that already existed before they had this genre of music. The music is the expression for trauma.
They're rapping about their reality, and they need to understand that if, for example, they were to ban drill music, is violence going to stop? It's not.
Yeah, you see, from their perspective, people upset about violence in rap music are focusing on the symptom instead of the root cause. Because you want to ban drill rap, but you don't want to ban income inequality. You want to ban drill rap, but you don't want to ban mass incarceration. You want to ban drill rap, but you don't want to ban failing schools. You want to ban drill rap, but you don't want to ban the things that lead to drill rap.
Trevor, these people have massive record deals. The fortune that they have, the fame and fortune that they have, is something that the average individual can only think of or dream of. In fact, some people's mind cannot comprehend it, especially in my part of the world. Yet they still have to be shooting ups. What do they need the gun for? The gun violence, what is it for? What do they need gangs for? Why continue in that lifestyle? How many RIPs do you need before you realize that inequality has nothing to do with this? Are Black Americans the only poor people in the world? Are they? In Nigeria, we face extreme poverty and experience many violent crimes and even terror attacks. But do you know how many of our musicians have died from gun violence? None. None. Not a single one. They live long enough to see their fame fade away. But in America, on average, 5 hip-hop artists die every year from gun violence. This year alone, 7 have died from gun violence, and it just keeps getting worse. And you can't keep blaming politicians for everything when you have artists encouraging and perpetrating violence through their music, when they are supposed to be leaders of their community. See, charity begins at home. It does. And like Kendrick Lamar said in The Heart Part 5, you can't help the world until you help yourself. And can't you help yourself? These Black artists, can't you guys help yourself? Should you fail yourself because the system has failed you? Aren't you tired of justifying gang violence and blaming everything on politicians? Are you the only country with bad politicians? And maybe the best place to start is with your music. Hip-hop is the only genre of music that I know in this world that promotes gun violence and gang activities. You know, maybe there are others that I'm not aware of. Let me know in the comment section, but I highly doubt that there's any other form of music that exists in this world that encourages this form of violence. I really want to see it. And you guys are not the only community in the world that experience armed robbery and gang activities. But you seem to be the only ones that sing about it. And that may be why there are more violent crime in your inner cities than was obtainable in most third world countries, facing far worse economic and political conditions. Maybe that's maybe that's what's causing the whole thing. And if you try and fix this, if you focus on this and say, what can we as a society, as a community, leave the government, leave the authorities. It's not every time you be looking at them. They failed you for so long. So look within yourself for the answer. Try fixing the problem yourselves. And start by not singing about, violence. There are so many things to sing about. So many things. Why must you call out people that you have beef with in your songs? Why must you, the things you people sing about, I really, it really, but as a Nigerian, I'm like, why put this in your song? Like you have nothing to talk about? This is it? Come on, you guys can do better. Come on.